Welcome back folks to a new video. So today I want to talk about the big bombshell information which happened yesterday regarding The Witcher 3. So yesterday on the Borys podcast they have revealed or leaked that The Witcher 3 is gonna be getting a new story DLC at the earliest in 2026, and that the DLC is made by Fool's Theory, a studio which we already know about. They're gonna be developing The Witcher 1 remake. So this information, as I said, comes from the Borys podcast, and yesterday they said that the new DLC is gonna be coming to The Witcher 3. Now keep in mind that I was not aware of this podcast, and that's mostly because, well, they're making content for the Polish audiences, and I really didn't know who they were. Now, when I shared this information further and I was actually looking at who these people are, is there anything which can support these claims, a lot of people told me that these two guys are actually very much involved in the CD project, and that they know what they're talking about, and that in previously some things that they have leaked or claimed turned out to be completely right. Actually, a lot of people told me that. Now, of course, whenever this sort of information comes out, or these sort of rumors, I try to keep my hype at a normal level because, well, first off, I don't want to be disappointed right now if that doesn't happen, but we're gonna be going deeper into what this means, what they said exactly, because I think it's very important that we really keep this as tight as possible with information, what they know, what they don't know, and that's mostly the reason why I waited with this video, because I didn't want to jump on it in case something else happened. What they don't know is exactly what the size of the DLC is going to be, if it's going to be a paid DLC or a free one, and when exactly it is coming out, although they did say that 2026 could be the earliest. And that the actual timeline for all of this happening is, first, The Witcher 3 modding tools, which are coming to consoles. This has been announced and confirmed already. Then The Witcher 3 is gonna be getting a DLC, then The Witcher 4, and then The Witcher 1 remake, which is, as I said, also made by Fool's Theory. Now, when it comes to this sort of information, we have to think about plausibility and if it's actually possible or not. Well, first off, if we take a look at Fool's Theory, a studio which has been formed by some of the people who actually worked on The Witcher 3, and we already know that they're gonna be working on The Witcher 1 remake after The Witcher 4 is out, because CDPR said that they want to see what sort of technology they're gonna be using for The Witcher 4, especially researching the Unreal Engine 5, everything that they are capable to do with it, and they're gonna be using that tech in the creation of The Witcher 1 remake. But is it possible that Fool's Theory could be developing a new DLC for CDPR? Technically, it's very much plausible because they do have the experience for it, and CDPR does have the history that we know about of working with them or actually planning to work with them on The Witcher 1 remake stuff. And then we also have to think about the possibility of having a DLC for a 10-year-old game. A lot of people said that it's not really plausible because it's an old game. I will disagree with that because, well, you have games like, for example, Titan Quest, which has been releasing expansions for it. They released expansion for it, I think a few years ago, and the game is so old. I played it when I was literally growing up. So it's really not impossible to create more content for an older game. It has been done before. And it's not something which is first in time in the industry or anything close to that. It's a way of actually just raising the hype for a game, especially if you have a sequel coming out. Now, the next thing, from the financial standpoint, does this make sense? Absolutely yes. If we think about the possibility of this DLC happening, especially if it's going to be a paid DLC, and if we're talking about... Now, it's very important that we distinguish DLC and expansion. Now, keep in mind that the podcast itself is in Polish, and I was using the auto translation from YouTube because I don't know how exactly right its translation is, but they were referring, I think, in most cases as a DLC. One time they referred to it as an expansion or something like that. But when it comes to CDPR in general, DLCs are small pieces of content, while the expansions are the big pieces of content for their games, like for example Heart of Stone, Blood and Wine, and Phantom Liberty. If we're talking talking about DLCs, those would be smaller pieces of content which come either with a patch or an update, or simply as an extra small feature that they release from time to time. And we also do know that CDPR is very much open to still supporting The Witcher 3 because first off, The Witcher 3 is their baby, and The Witcher 3 is basically a game which really expanded their studio to the size that they are, at right now, because it was such a critically acclaimed game, and even to this day you have people who are actively playing it. I mean, whenever I do a video about The Witcher 3, especially when I was doing, like, for example, the beginner's guide for the game, I released that beginner's guide like years after the game came out, and it actually became one of the most viewed videos on my channel. So from the community player standpoint, it's very much still alive, and a lot of people are playing it, and it's selling really well. From the financial standpoint, when it comes to, like, if people are going to buy this, yes, I think having some sort of a DLC for this game would absolutely bring a lot of people back into it, and I think it would be very helpful to kind of bridge the gap of content before, The Witcher 4 comes out, which in my opinion would be the end of 2027. That's sort of like my personal speculation when The Witcher 4 is coming out, because we already know that 2026 is out of the question. And actually hiring someone like Fool's Theory is also plausible again, because for Cyberpunk 2077 they were using Virtuous, and they're gonna be using Virtuous again, I believe, for the patch 2.3, which is coming out per CDPR on the 26th of June. Now, if we're gonna be talking about the story or content segment of the DLC, a lot of people are speculating what could it be, because if we think about Blood and Wine, for example, Blood and Wine served as sort of an epilogue for Geralt of Rivia, like showing that at the end of the day he's just chilling now in Toussaint and he doesn't want to do anything else. He just wants to be, good Geralt who's just frolicking around. Now, of course, we still don't know, like, the story, the overall arching story of everything which is going to happen in The Witcher 4, so a lot of people are saying that there is a possibility that we're gonna be playing as Ciri, or maybe, like, just as Geralt, but they're trying to kind of bridge the story between, like, the two games, and they're trying to maybe, like, explain the lore behind it, how Ciri became The Witcher. Of course, these are all speculations that people are saying, that this is not something that was confirmed on Rock E. Borys podcast. Keep in mind, right now I'm just talking about what people were saying, either under my posts or other people's posts. So what happens truly with it is still remains to be seen. Now, if we're gonna be talking seriously about this, so technically these two dudes were right in the past a lot. We do know that they have a tight relationship with CDPR, and that, again, as I said, in the past they said stuff which turned out to be right, so they have a very good track record. Now also keep in mind that the news media has reached out to CDPR to comment, and CDPR's official statement right now is they don't comment on rumors, which is something fully expected, to be honest. Like, I doubt they're gonna be saying anything in regards to that. So the only thing which remains to be seen is when or if CDPR is going to announce this project, because keep in mind, if it's coming out allegedly at the earliest in 2026, I think it would be still sort of early to announce anything when it comes to that. So if this is truly happening, I would expect that maybe CDPR is going to say something more by the end of the year, maybe sooner, maybe later, but it all depends if these things are going to be happening. But actually, after talking about this, I also received an email from some person, and that person said, like, yeah, I also can confirm this. Now keep in mind, whenever I receive these sort of emails, I cannot verify if you really have any contacts with CDPR. Keep in mind, the email was from, I guess, someone in Poland, but they're not affiliated with the Rocky Borys podcast, so this is someone else. And they also said, like, yeah, I also have some contacts which confirm this. Again, I don't want to hype you guys up. Generally, I am known as the pessimist in the community. That means that I really try to really wait for the official confirmation from CDPR whenever these things happen, because in the past, there were some rumors about this or that, especially when it comes to the new expansion or DLC which was planned planned allegedly for Cyberpunk 2077, which was dismantled for now. I mean, keep in mind, when I talked about this, we had Marcin Momot, who reconfirmed again that it's important to temper your expectations, especially when you think about the size of a patch and we're thinking about DLC expansion. Now, Fool's Theory has been also going like on a sort of a hiring spree in the past few months or so, but keep in mind, a lot of those, hirings could be related obviously to the new projects, and they could be related to something extra, which can sort of like reaffirm that statement that they could be really working on something, because right now, especially when it comes to Fool's Theory, there is a complete silence on what they're working on at the moment, so it's very much plausible. I mean, don't get me wrong, I would love to have a new DLC for The Witcher 3. I think from the financial and just from the hype standpoint, if this comes out, I think it's going to be awesome, because I'm pretty sure it's going to bring a lot of people back into the game, and it's not impossible that these things happen, because in the past we've already had situations where older games received new updates which pretty much skyrocketed their popularity again. And these two guys seem to be really much for a lot of people, especially from Poland that talk to me, are someone to like legit know what's happening, and they're not really saying things just to say things, and they're not saying things just to attract attention. They're actually working on actual sources and actual pieces of information. But look, let's see what happens. I would love to see this. Again, I'm going to say to everyone, like, to remain calm. We don't know exactly when is this happening or if it's going to happen. We'll see probably by the end of the year, and for the time being, you can let me know down below in the comments what do you think about all of this, because it's very important that we keep a discussion and speculation, again, as tight as possible, and not go into something which is never going to happen, and etc, etc. But from the personal note, I would love that these two guys are right, and I cannot wait to see what's gonna be happening, because, man, I mean, come on, like seeing another, Witcher DLC going back to The Witcher again, especially because they had the next-gen release as well. I mean, this would be really, really cool to have. And I mean, from the company standpoint, like, why wouldn't you hire people who already worked on The Witcher 3 and who not kinda, but they know the lore, they know the universe, and they love The Witcher by itself. So, I mean, it will be interesting what job they do, because, I mean, when it comes to, like, story DLCs, it also depends, like, what size exactly is it going to be. I mean, if this happens, if it truly happens, I'm expecting more of a size, like, maybe Hearts of Stone, even smaller. I'm not fully expecting, like, Blood and Wine levels of, like, content where we're going to get a whole new map and everything is gonna be going crazy. But let me know down below in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to smash that like and subscribe button for more. Also check us out on Twitter and Discord for further discussion, and huge thanks to my current Patreon supporters. This is LKM signing out, and I will see you very soon with a new video. Bye bye.